I pick up the phone and I hear my daughter's voice and it says, "Mom," and she's sobbing. And I was, "What happened?" And she's like, "Mom, I messed up."
In April of 2023, Jennifer DeStefano's world was shattered when she got the most dreaded call any parent could receive.
"Help me! Mom, please help me!"
The voice said on the other end. Jennifer instantly recognized the voice as her daughter's. Jennifer had only just waved goodbye to her daughter a few days prior as she went on her ski trip. So, to receive the news was beyond traumatizing. Soon, in typical abduction fashion, a husky voice came on the line demanding Jennifer to pay a ransom of $1 million if she ever wanted to see her daughter alive again. Like any good parent, Jennifer was distraught, but only for a few minutes as she soon established contact with her daughter, who was not in fact kidnapped. The voice she heard on the phone? An AI clone. And the truly unsettling part of the story? Jennifer was 100% sure it was her 15-year-old daughter on the other end of the phone. "It was never a question of who is this," said Jennifer. "It was completely her voice. It was how she would have cried. I never doubted for 1 second it was her." Are you terrified yet? Well, that's just the tip of the iceberg. In today's video, we'll be discussing one of the many applications of artificial intelligence, AI voice cloning. We'll look at what it is and what makes it such a terrifying reality for the world as we know it. Before we get started, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on the latest advancements in AI and other cutting-edge technology. Now let's jump right in. Experts say the rise of artificial intelligence will be beneficial for most people over the next decade. Still, many have concerns about how advances in AI will affect what it means to be human, to be productive, to exercise free will, or to even know what's real. Have you even seen some of the art produced by generative AI? Worse yet, have you seen the eerily creepy wonders of AI voice cloning and how AI can write, sing, and produce a song that sounds exactly like Jay-Z without a single contribution from the popular rapper? Well, welcome to the current era of artificial intelligence. Now, let's kick off with the most pertinent question. What is AI voice cloning? AI voice cloning is when an artificial software takes a person's voice and replicates it. It uses artificial intelligence to create a near-identical voice of a speaker, mimicking everything from syllable pronunciations to intonation patterns. The audio clip the voice cloning software needs to learn from doesn't even have to be that long. McAfee reports that a 3-second voice clip is long enough for the AI to learn and copy the speaker. Eerie, right? Now, since we're here, some people might confuse AI voice cloning with speech synthesis. However, it differs from speech synthesis in that AI uses different predefined voices to replace speech. Both are often used together, though, since you can make an AI voice clone say whatever you want in any language or emotion. Now back to AI voice cloning. Here's one more thing that kicks the creepiness factor up a notch. There's no special sauce to making these clones. Literally anyone can make an AI voice clone. Even more, there's lots of different apps and software that can clone someone's voice. One example of a voice cloning app is Voice Copy, which is available on Apple's App Store and Google Play. This app can be used to clone voices with just a short talking sample. As expected, Voice Copy's far from the only voice cloning software out there. There are lots of others like Voice.ai, Speechify, Resemble AI, Play.ht, 11 Labs, Murph AI, and many others. Samsung also introduced a new AI voice cloning feature for its mobile assistant, Bixby. Basically, this AI software allows people to clone their voices, and then the assistant can answer the owner's phone calls on their behalf. The feature also allows users to type a message to be spoken through voice cloning to the person on the other end of the line. But as can be expected, Samsung isn't the only one jumping on voice cloning for your phone. Apple also has an AI voice assistant with the same idea called Personal Voice that's set to release with the company's iOS 17 update. Now, just as with chat-based and photo-generating AI, people worldwide are still figuring out how to use voice cloning tools best. However, in the meantime, many people have already begun experimenting with these tools for various purposes. When it comes to applications, voice cloning serves a variety of purposes, some positive and some negative. An example of a positive use of voice cloning would be in assisting people who have lost the ability to speak, as well as for those doing voiceover work. There's also the advantage of translating content into localized languages. Globally, more businesses are starting to understand the need for localized content in the globalized world, especially since roughly 7 in 10 consumers say they would switch to a brand that offers content in their native language. Before now, the traditional method to localize content would have been to hire a translator or foreign voice actors to dub the content. However, thanks to AI voice cloning or AI dubbing, that's become optional. With AI dubbing, companies can now dub their content for various international markets without hiring foreign voiceover artists. Entertainment companies can also now release series, movies, and songs in different languages to appeal to broader audiences. An example of this is in action can be seen by the K-pop artist Midnat, who released his song Masquerade in English and used voice AI to release versions in 6 languages. Viewers watching the music video on YouTube can now click settings to change the audio track to their language. Still, there's a dark side to all of this, just like we saw in the intro. Perhaps one of the biggest downfalls to voice cloning is that it's causing scams to rise, since it's so difficult to distinguish what's real and what's not. Criminals have used voice cloning to scam people into giving money, in cases where the person on the receiving end of the call thinks they're talking to a close friend or relative in trouble. This terrifying new kind of scam involves using AI to clone the voice of your loved ones. And the barrier is super low these days, since all the criminal needs is a short audio clip of your family member's voice, which they could get from pretty much any content posted online. Once the criminal gets a hold of a good piece of content containing the victim's voice, they upload it to the AI software program of their choice. The AI then analyzes everything that makes said person's voice unique, such as age, accent, gender, regional differences, and every other tiny detail. With all that data analyzed, the AI then starts to curate. All that's left now is to type in a prompt and the AI will voice said sentence in the voice of the victim. From then on, whenever the scammer places a call to the victim's family member, they'll sound just like the victim. During the call, your loved one will be speaking with a panicked voice, telling you they've gotten in some kind of trouble, maybe went to jail or got in a car accident. But you can help them by sending money. But of course, it's actually a scam. This ruse is becoming more and more convincing as victims report reacting with visceral horror when hearing loved ones in danger, just like the story we shared about Jennifer earlier. In a global survey of 7,000 people from 9 countries, including the United States, 1 in 4 people said they'd experienced an AI voice cloning scam or knew someone who had. Also, according to another survey published last month by the US-based McAfee Labs, 70% of the respondents said they were not confident they could tell the difference between a cloned voice and the real thing. This obviously is highly unsettling, and since there still aren't any official regulations on the creation of the AI voice content, it's important you keep a few things in your mind if you ever find yourself receiving one of these phone calls. For one, always be skeptical about ransom calls, no matter how accurate it sounds. Also, always make sure to call the person who supposedly contacted you and verify the story. Use a phone number you know is theirs, and if you can't reach them, try to get in touch with them through another family member or their friends. Another thing that makes AI voice cloning a terrifying reality is the possibility of mimicking celebrity voices, which is currently another popular use case. Sure, it could be fun to listen to your favorite song in the voice of another artist. However, AI voice cloning pushes the boundaries of creativity and, in turn, draws potential legal issues. Many famous people, including Taylor Swift, Joe Rogan, and former US presidents, have been victims of AI voice cloning. A significant example of this occurred in April 2023, when TikTok user Ghostwriter977 released the song Heart on My Sleeve using the voices of international artists Drake and The Weeknd. Despite neither of these artists actually singing or being connected to the project in any capacity. Many argue that it's the first viral AI-generated song, receiving over 230,000 views on YouTube and 625,000 streams on Spotify before copyright strikes from Universal Music Group, which represents the artists in question, took it down. And modern-day celebrities aren't the only ones getting their voices replicated. For instance, the filmmakers of the documentary The Andy Warhol Diaries used an AI software to create a synthetic voice of the famed pop artist, Andy Warhol, to narrate portions of his diary, thereby bringing his voice back to life and highlighting how technology has the potential to preserve someone's identity long after they've passed. Once again, some might see this as an advantage, but voiceover actors don't necessarily see it as such, and it's raised concerns in their community. Many of them worry about their job security, as AI becomes more and more capable of performing traditionally human tasks. One noteworthy incident occurred in February 2023, which involved several video game voice actors publicly condemning contracts they've received, requiring them to sign away their voices to AI. One can understand their frustration because what'll become of voice actors if it becomes much more efficient and cost-effective to use AI to narrate or dub content? Like that wasn't enough, one company, Veritone, launched a service that would let influencers, athletes, and actors license their AI voice for things like endorsements and radio idents, without ever having to go into a studio. With all of this considered, it begs the question, what can we do about these concerns, and what does the future of AI voice cloning hold for us? Well, the potential for this technology is complicated, as governments worldwide are still determining the best laws and regulations to place for its safe usage. Plus, many are still experimenting with this technology, given it's still in its infancy. Generally though, if you aren't famous enough to benefit from the technology and are not professionally threatened by its development, the potential applications of AI voice cloning could lean more toward the positive. It's not hard to imagine a video game where the character creation screen includes an option to create a voice clone, so it sounds like the player's speaking all the dialogue in the game. Or think of an app for parents that allows them to copy their voice so they can read bedtime stories to their children even when they're not around. Such applications could be done with AI voice cloning. Still, there are the negative impacts, which can't be ignored. So one needs to be very cautious not to get scammed or misinformed. One thing's for sure though, in the future, anyone will be able to create an AI voice clone of themselves or anyone else if they want to. Whether this is a good or a bad thing is still left to be determined, but our guess is that the answer lies somewhere in between. But what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments down below. And that concludes our exploration of the reality of AI voice cloning. If you enjoyed the video and learned a thing or two, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss our future videos on AI and other cutting-edge technology. Be sure to check out this next video on the secrets of age reversal. Uncover the science behind staying forever young and the possibilities of a rejuvenated future.